So I'm sure everybody has already seen this in the media. It looks like, or at least from what we see, Israel has struck a hospital and then apparently struck again. There's still not full information about what exactly has happened. And of course, you have the exact same thing coming out from the pro or so-called pro-Palestinian media, talking about how Israel is targeting hospitals, how Israel is targeting journalists. So today we'll cover all of that. We'll also cover the unfortunate response from Israel, I think, and this should kind of work as a reminder to people that yeah, there is a war in Gaza, and this is what happens during war. Unfortunately, Israel didn't choose this communication strategy, which I think is very problematic. And I think I'm coming across a bit laggy, so let's hope we can fix that in a bit. If not, we'll play a video while I go fix that. But let me know if the image is coming across clearly. Um, so yeah, I mean, one of the first things is this idea of something that people might have missed in the past is that Israel continuously is bombing the last hospitals in Gaza, yet somehow there is still another hospital that Israel can bomb that is sort of like an official thing that Israel is bombing and is being blamed for. So that's just sort of one thing to point out. Uh, and yeah, I mean, before we go comment a bit further, we can watch the video. So again, basically, my understanding right now of this video is that there was the first strike that happened by Israel that was announced. Israel let everybody know that this is going to happen, and as Israel always does. And then apparently there were people trying to rescue things or something, and then this happened.
لا حصل الآن
نعم.
الآن خليك يا الله راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس استهداف كبير الآن كما تشاهدون في هذه الصورة تدمير كبير قصف عنيف جدا.
So yeah, this is how it looked. Again, the official story by the IDF is that this strike, well, the first strike was basically done because, again, Hamas has been using the hospital for military purposes. Specifically, one terrorist has been WB says Israel released footage of Israel hiding on fourth floor. I'll try to quickly look it up. If anybody knows where I could find it, that would be good. But yeah, the official story is that somebody says, I'm confused because the IDF just admitted wrongdoing in strike. Unless there was something new that was stated, Israel didn't admit any wrong. It just said, I think I have it here. It said it regrets any harm to uninvolved individuals and does not target journalists while acting to minimize civilian casualties and ensure troop safety. So this would mean that basically they still stand by the strike, just regret that maybe it wasn't or it was bigger. Okay, we have actually we have IDF spokesperson Brigadier General Afi Defrin who addressed the strike. So let's just read it right now. Let me just copy it and we can comment on it. So a lot. This has this I think happened in the morning, but we don't have that much comment. So a lot of it is coming out now. So let's listen to the IDF spokesperson. The IDF does not intend to harm civilians and makes every effort to minimize it. Any incident that raises concern on this issue is handled by the relevant authorities in the IDF. We are operating in the extremely complex reality. Hamas terrorists deliberately use civilian infrastructure as a shield. However, as a professional army committed to international law, we are obligated to investigate our actions thoroughly and professionally. The Chief of Staff has instructed an immediate investigation to understand the circumstances of the incident and how it happened. We will present our findings with maximum transparency. So this pretty much sounds very similar or pretty much exactly to what we've seen, that basically Israel does stand behind this action, at least somewhat, but yeah, is going to investigate it. So this is what you get. But again, the fact that Israel is already like apologizing, Israel has basically things in place to make sure wrong things don't happen, right? Every strike, especially strike on a hospital, especially strike as I think, as I understand it, it wasn't a missile. It was specifically I've seen different things, and now I'm not sure. I think I had it written, yeah, that it was a ground-launched missile or naval fire. So this was already sort of more regulated. So if this indeed went through by the IDF, it would have required basically a permission of very high-level officer. So again, Israel has things in place to ensure wrong things don't happen. And Israel needs to stand behind these things much more. We have a super chat from Jeff. Thank you so much. And a super chat from Bonnie. Thank you so much. Bonnie says they could always surrender. Why is the world blind to this? I mean, absolutely. And Elijah in the chat says, I know the so-called journalists in there celebrated October 7 and posed with Hamas officials. So yeah, basically the claim is also that 5 journalists were killed. Now I think the one you're talking about, I'm not sure if we are talking about a different guy. Specifically, one of the so-called journalists I have is the Mohammed Salama, who was Al Jazeera journalist from last year, and he was among the forces that have invaded Israel on October 7. So this is at least one that we know and is already yeah. We know he has I mean it's the same story as always, right? They claim everybody is a journalist, yet they are part of Hamas, or there are actual leaders in Hamas, or they have participated in the invasion on October 7. This story keeps repeating. It's always the same story. So yeah, as I've said, the IDF says that a Palestinian terrorist has used the hospital for a ground to record the movement of IDF forces. That was the first strike that happened. And again, Palestinians should realize if they do not want this to happen, they should do something about this war. They should surrender Hamas. They should give out the hostages. They should show that they do not want this war to continue any longer. But they are not doing so. They are continuing to support Hamas. They do support the violent resistance, or I shouldn't call this resistance, the violent attacks on Israel, and this is the kind of reality Palestinians still want. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the specific hospital it happened was the Nasser hospital, and you might have heard it before because we've covered Nasser hospital many times. But let me just give you a reminder. In February 2024, IDF has apprehended over 100 terrorists hiding in Nasser hospital. Some of them were posed as medical staff, and many of them participated in October 7. They also found mortars, grenades, and other weaponry in the hospital itself. Then, I think this was earlier this month, a few weeks ago, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation spokesperson revealed that Doctors Without Borders refused to treat aid workers, leaving them to die outside the Nasser hospital. As I've said, Mohammed Salama, who was at this site, has participated in October 7. Last month, there was also a report saying that Gazan sources published a summons from Hamas Interior Ministry ordering a Gaza resident to appear for interrogation inside Nasser hospital. The document was also signed by Hamas officer and stamped Ministry of Interior, West Khan Yunis Police, Investigations Department, Nasser Hospital. So again, time and time again, we see that Nasser Hospital has been used for military purposes by Hamas. They have been trying to basically hide behind well, this is what human shield, right, to try to hide behind the protection that a hospital should have, yet they are the ones who are denying the protection that hospitals normally sort of get. I'm trying to read the chat just to see if anybody has okay, so yeah, so we also have some comments. As I've said, the Doctors Without Borders have commented on this. Again, Doctors Without Borders, according to Gaza Humanitarian Foundation spokesperson, have denied access to the hospital to 28 workers, leaving them to die outside of Nasser Hospital. So they've commented on this. I'm not sure if I want to read the whole thing, but they said, "We denounce in the strongest possible terms Israel's horrendous attacks on the Nasser medical complex today, the only partially functioning public hospital in the south of Gaza. Israeli forces killed at least 20 people and injured 50 more in consecutive strikes, including healthcare workers, rescuers, and journalists." And then they go into specific ones that were killed, which and yeah, Bonnie in the chat says consider the source before repeating Hamas statement. I mean, again, this is another example of we don't have the full story. IDF has said they will look into the full story of what has happened, but everybody's already repeating the full line by Hamas or by whoever did the recording on the strike. Again, the reason why there was medical staff is because or why there was why there were cameras is because Israel said they were going to do this strike. They said people should evacuate. This is, again, Israel is like one of the only militaries that tell the enemy before they are going to strike that they will strike them. I mean, this is what's, to sort of to go to the main thing, I guess, to go a bit further. This is what I think the most disappointing about the Israeli actions is the fact that Israel itself doesn't recognize that this is a war. Israel itself is trying to act like yeah, like this is some sort of picnic you play that, oh, you tell them when you're going to attack. No, this is Hamas has used the hospital like right now or the morning of, has used this hospital to record IDF strike, to record IDF movements ahead of big operation of the IDF inside of Gaza. This is a threat to Israel. This is a threat to IDF soldiers. This is the threat to the whole Israeli society. Israel should do whatever is necessary to end it as soon as possible. But no, even Israel itself is trying to deny that. IDF chief Ayal Zamir ordered an immediate investigation, with the military saying it regrets any harm to uninvolved individuals and does not target journalists, while acting to minimize civilian casualties and ensure troop safety. Military officials said the hospital was attacked after a credible threat was detected on its roof. And this is my problem, right? Like, Israel knows it did the right thing. Israel recognizes that they took the precaution, they did everything that was necessary for them to be okay with the strike. Now stand behind the decision. That's what you have to do. Once you commit to something, once you think that you've taken enough precaution. Once you think you've taken enough, you've decided that this is a strike worth taking, you have to stand behind it. You have to do it, and then you have to say, yes, we did it, and we are proud of it because we are defending the Israeli society. We are defending the Israeli nation. This is what happens when you start a war. You do whatever is necessary to end it as soon as possible. But no, the way Israel acts is always they do take the action and then they apologize for it. You cannot live a life while continuously apologizing for every action you take to sustain that life. You cannot defend an Israeli society and then basically try to apologize for taking the actions necessary to defend it. No, Daniel, you do not act proud of it. You act contrite and somber and apologize. Apologize for what? For waging a war? For living life? For defending yourself? This is what Israel is doing. This is what Israel is apologizing for defending itself, for making sure this war or trying to make sure that this war ends as soon as possible. Israel has a responsibility towards its own citizens. Israel has a responsibility to end this war as soon as possible with as few deaths on its side as it can. Israel didn't choose to start this war, uh, but Israel should fight it with all the power it has to end it as soon as possible. Otherwise, more people will die on the Israeli side. Otherwise, we will expect another October 7. Hamas has already committed to it. And it's not like if Hamas gets removed, the Palestinian population itself doesn't want another October 7th. They do. They've celebrated it, they participated in it, and they still largely support it. And also, they do not even support the demilitarization of Hamas. I think somebody can correct me, but in the most recent poll released by the Palestinian, I think it's Survey and Policy Research, has showed that something like 80% of Palestinians do not want the demilitarization of Hamas. So again, they want to keep fighting, yet we keep acting uh, like this is again some kind of picnic, like this is just some kind of disagreement we're trying to hash out. No, Palestinians have rejected the idea of dealing with Israelis by reason or by cooperation. I mean that's far gone. By any sort of agreement. No, they said we want to wipe you out, and Israel is acting as if they've never said so or they've never did anything to do that. Uh, Trying to read. PPLO says Nasser, so-called hospital, is a known Hamas command center with direct access to tunnel underneath. I mean, yeah, people can look up. Maybe I'll put it in the chat if I find it later. But one company actually released the mapping of every single tunnel that we know of, and even that, I think they only had like a quarter of all the tunnels that are believed to be there. So you can actually go look at the map, go look at, how tunnels actually do go underneath the hospitals, how they actually do go underneath the schools. So I definitely recommend that resource. Somebody says the goal is to save lives on both sides. Hamas doesn't want that. Hamas doesn't want to save lives on either side. Palestinians don't want to save lives on either side. If that was the goal for the Palestinian society, they wouldn't have started this war or they would have ended this war. No, the goal from them is to kill Jews. That is the goal of Palestinians. That is not the goal of Israelis. For Israel, the goal is, or at least should be, to end this war as soon as possible. But no, Israel itself is unaware of what it actually wants to do, is not sure if it wants to, what it wants to do about Gaza. It keeps, I mean, Netanyahu keeps saying, right, we want to free Palestinians from Hamas, as if that is something they do not want, as if Palestinians do not want to live under Hamas. They are showing that they do want this kind of thing. And they are still going for that. So again, this is the kind of this is what's the most disappointing again about any story like this is the fact that I have to go and not necessarily defend Israeli actions because I think Israeli actions are right, but to defend Israel when Israel doesn't want to defend itself. Again, if Israel did this and said, no, we did whatever was necessary, we might have not wanted it to be at this scale or not exactly like this, but we considered everything about this operation and we have okayed it with the idea of knowing what's going to happen. So we did take this action to, again, protect our lives, to protect the lives of our soldiers, and to protect our nation. This is what should absolutely happen. As Gishka says, the apology is not for striking, it is a remorse at the loss of civilian life. They do not like the collateral damage. Yeah, I mean, somebody said it earlier, and I keep trying to phrase it that Israel is not apologizing for the strike itself. Israel is, I mean, not necessarily even apologizing, just saying, let me just read from the spokesperson. Does the IDF does not intend to harm civilians and makes every effort to minimize it. Any incident that raises concerns on this issue is handled by the relevant authorities in the IDF. So yeah, they're not even necessarily sort of apologizing, but again, they should say, no, we've taken into consideration everything about this operation, and we have decided to take it because there was a threat that we needed to eliminate, and we did everything according to protocol. So yeah, in that way, it's good that Israel isn't apologizing for the strike itself, although today is young. In the past, Israel has apologized for many actions that I think it shouldn't have. So yeah, it won't. Uh, hopefully, it won't over apologize again and again. Bonnie in the chat says, isn't apologizing for killing your killers full-blown altruism, aka self-abasement, self-sacrifice, self-hatred? Yeah, absolutely. It's again, you're fighting a war, you have to do whatever is necessary. And again, I have to say, even when it comes to civilians, as unfortunate if truly innocent people, and there are innocent people in Gaza, children for the biggest part, and people who do not have the sort of ability to take care of their own lives, so like people who are disabled beyond sort of like able to take care of themselves. So yeah, there are absolutely innocent people who do not have, well, mainly the people who do not have moral agency or full moral agency are innocent sort of by default. I don't think innocence even makes sense because they do not have even ability to be guilty. But that's sad. But it's still, you have to do whatever is necessary. Those deaths are not on you. You didn't decide. It's not like Israel has invaded Gaza out of nothing and is now culpable for the casualties. No, Hamas has started this war by invading Israel on October 7. Israel is trying to end it, and Israel is trying to take precautions while ending it, which I think played against it. Because, again, the moral standard requires you to surrender from the start, not to, fight with precaution. There is no way to fight an altruistic moral war. The only way to do so is to surrender. The only way to do so is to not fight it. Uh, Uh, yeah. So again, people trying to blame Israel for this strike. Again, there is nothing Israel could do that would be good enough. People can look up all the shows we did in the past. I mean, look up the Beeper attack, right? Look up the Israeli attack. I think we called it Lebanon Finds Out. So try to put Lebanon Finds Out, Ayn Rand Center UK, and you'll be able to find our coverage and also the episodes after that, our coverage of the the Beeper attack in Hezbollah, which was the most precise operation in human history, that you couldn't find like a bigger like an attack that was as discriminatory as that Israeli strike. And of course that wasn't enough, because nothing is good enough. Israel cannot do, there is no operation Israel could take that would somehow be okay in the eyes of people who fundamentally do not want Israel to even exist. So how can it fight a war properly if it shouldn't even exist? Deborah says all Israeli top generals have been trained in the US war colleges, where the stupid way the West fights, constantly handicapping themselves, is taught. I mean, absolutely. It's not, it should be said, it's not just Israel, it's the West itself, right? All the wars the West has fought in the last, I mean, pretty much since World War II, have not, well, no, there were some that were a bit better, because at least there was some goal, and that goal was sort of achieved, even if the wars itself were not necessarily just. But yeah, is the modern way of fighting a war is to not fight it, is to think that somehow all the military of an enemy nation is somehow completely separated from the civilian population that has supported that kind of military. Askieshka says this is why using hospital is so egregious, because the people in the hospital are people Hamas has harmed. It is egregious. I mean, absolutely. Again, the rhetoric has to be that Hamas is the one that is making strikes like these necessary. If Hamas didn't use the hospitals to hide the hostages, to keep their weapons in, to hide, to have their interrogations rooms in, to have their tunnels underneath, and you could go on and on. Israel would have no reason to ever do anything with those hospitals. It's Hamas that is giving Israel the reasons to do so, and this is what happens always and again and again, and yeah. So let me just quickly look up if there are any comments. So we also have a comment from Macron, so we might as well read that out. He posted on X, "This is intolerable. Civilians and journalists must be protected under all circumstances. The media must be able to fulfill its mission freely and independently and cover the reality of the conflict." Oh, and he he also talked about two-state solution again, blah, 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 blah. So again, this is giving into the premise, but what would you expect from President Macron? Yeah, journalists should have, or sort of, it is understandable why we would want journalists to not be harmed, but again, that's what Hamas is doing. Hamas is using, is posing oftentimes as journalists. Hamas is the one killing many of the journalists, many of the Palestinians inside of Gaza, but it's always on Israel. So this is the kind of thing you have. So that's why I think Israel should be absolutely less apologetic, because apologizing doesn't do anything, because these people don't care about apology. They care about Israeli existence, specifically that the fact that it shouldn't exist. With that, I'm just quickly going through the chat. El Rito says Macron and others love this stuff because it fills the airtime with this news instead of focus on their own problems. I mean, if we take Netanyahu's words, he said that the Western leaders privately tell him that they are behind Israel but have to publicly be against Israel. And yeah, I could absolutely see it, but it doesn't change the fact that Israel is getting an immense amount of pressure and that Western leaders are playing into it. So maybe I could understand it, but I'm definitely not going to be nice about it. Again, justice is what matters to me, not appeasing a bunch of Islamists in Western nations. With that, we'll, of course, continue covering this. There will be no reality show today, but there will be one tomorrow, as well as another episode of the Daily Objective. We might continue covering this if more things happen, and if not, we'll be here with another different topic. So with that, thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you everybody for watching, and bye bye until tomorrow.